Awesome. Well, we're going to kick this thing off. So, wanted to first off thank you all for joining. This webinar is going to be all about how you need to optimize your website and your landing pages for conversions. So, conversion rate optimization is probably one of the most important pieces of any sort of online marketing. Oh, hey, looks like we have a visitor. Welcome. If you could type in the chat box if you can hear me all right. Let's just make sure we have sound going okay. All right. Well, not 100. Oh, hey, what's going on, Mike? Hey, Mike, if you could, I'm just doing an audio check. Can you? Okay, perfect. Awesome. So, hey, welcome guys to the webinar. In this webinar, I just want to go over a few really simple tweaks you can make to your website, you can make to your landing pages to double and even triple the number of bookings you're generating. And so conversion rate optimization, all it really means, it's a technical term that we internet marketers use a lot. All it really means is it's your first line of sales. Okay, so a lot of you guys have customer service reps. And so your customer service reps are actually your second line of sales. Your first line of sales is your website and your landing pages. And we want to make sure that our website and our landing pages are built to convert visitors into leads. Because your customer service reps, what their job to do is to convert leads into sales. And so your website, it's really your first line of sales. And so we want to set it up in a way, and we want to have certain components on it that will convert those visitors into leads. And so really this is just all about driving the maximum number of leads to your business. And what you'll see on the screen in front of you is just all of the different ways that we can drive leads and bookings to our website. But what you're going to find out is your website is really the core of everything you see here, whether you're doing search engine optimization, whether you're doing pay-per-click, a retargeting campaign, social media marketing. For all of these things, people typically are going to end up at your website. And so we want to make sure we built our site in a way that gets people to take that next step, whether that be making a phone call, whether that be filling out an online quote form, and so forth. And so what we're going to cover today is, number one, why conversion rate optimization, which is again converting visitors into leads, is the largest lever you have when it comes to your online marketing. We're going to go over kind of the industry standards as far as what does a good conversion rate look like? What should my website be converting at? And it really kind of depends market to market, whether you do corporate versus retail, but we'll get into that. And then how to structure your website, what certain elements that you want to have on your website, not only on the home page, but on your services pages, on your fleet page, on pretty much every page of your website. There's just a few simple elements you want to have on it that will double to triple the conversion rate. And so your ideal customer avatar. Now, if you guys have been following, Limo Growth and Bill Faith, he talks about this a lot. And so it's a really important concept to grasp, because whether you're doing wine tours, that's going to have a different customer avatar. If you focus on the corporate limo service and corporate work, that's got a different customer avatar. And if you're renting party buses, that's got a different avatar as well. So we really want to make sure we have our landing pages and our website set up to speak to whoever that ideal customer avatar is. And once we've developed that ideal customer avatar, which I'm going to kind of go over how we develop that, we really want to use that avatar in order to write copy that really speaks to that avatar, speaks to their pain points. And so we're going to get into all of this today. So should be a lot of value. And so again, what's the one element in your online marketing campaign that can have the biggest impact for all of your online marketing efforts? Like I said in the very beginning of this, what's the biggest lever? And it's your website. Because again, your website is the hub of everything. Whether you're running a Facebook ad campaign, you're doing YouTube, LinkedIn, you're doing pay-per-click, or you're doing SEO, it really all feeds back into your website. So you want to make sure that website is built to convert. Looks like we have Paul Covey on here. Good to see you, Paul. Hope everything's doing well in Orlando. Okay, so let's go into some different scenarios. So with online marketing, it all comes down to numbers. So first off, we want to know how many visitors are we getting to our site a month, okay? And if you have Google Analytics installed on your site, you can do a filter to search by where those visitors are coming from. Maybe they're coming from organic. Maybe they're coming from Facebook. Maybe they're coming from LinkedIn. There's lots of different places that they're going to be referred from. And so first off, we want to start by knowing, okay, how many unique visitors are we getting a month? And by unique, I mean, if the same person is visiting your site over and over, that's not a unique visitor. So how many unique visitors are we getting a month? And so let's look at scenario one. So 500 visitors per month. This would be for more of a limo company that's more on the smaller side. So if you're getting 500 visitors a month to your site, unique visitors, at a 10% conversion rate, that means you're getting 50 phone calls, 50 contact forms, a combination of calls and contact forms a month. And so let's pretend that out of those 50 leads, that 20% of them book. So you book 10 jobs a month. So really, you start with 500 visitors. From those visitors, 10% of those turn into leads, right? And so from those leads, 20% of those leads convert into sales, right? That's why it's important to have a good follow-up system, to have good customer service reps that have scripts, because we want that number to be as high as possible as well. And your average transaction, let's say, is $500. So that would be $5,000 in revenue, in new revenue. Now, let's look at scenario two. So scenario one is your average website IC that isn't built to convert, all right? That doesn't have a good conversion rate. 10% is not a good conversion rate. So in scenario two, let's pretend we have a website that has all of these boxes checked that I'm going to go into later in this webinar, the things you want to have on your website. Same number of visitors, okay? So they're not getting any more visitors than the company in scenario one. But instead of converting 10% of those visitors into leads, this website is converting 30% of those visitors into leads. So this website goes from getting 50 leads a month, all right, from either, calls or online quote forms, to getting 150 leads a month, okay? And we're really keeping all the numbers the same except for the conversion rate, okay? We're still converting 20% of those leads into sales, okay? So 150, 20% of that is 30 jobs booked a month, okay? Same average transaction value, which is $500. But you'll notice in scenario one, the total revenue was $5,000, whereas in scenario two, the total revenue, well, looks like we're missing a zero, but it should be $15,000. So just let's stop for a second and think how big that is. Literally tripling the number of bookings you're getting. And this literally can come from just small, simple tweaks to your website. I cannot emphasize this enough. I've seen this happen over and over again with companies I've seen that did not have websites built to convert, that literally overnight doubled their sales from their online marketing efforts. I'm not saying all of their sales, but just from their online marketing efforts, doubling or tripling your sales is very easy to do. You just need to know how many visitors you're getting to your site a month and how many leads that site is generating a month. Once we know that, we can try to improve it. So it's very important that this stuff is measured, because as you've heard before, what gets measured gets improved. So how did we go from scenario 1 to scenario 2? Because that's a very large difference in revenue. So let me just bring up an actual campaign, because I want to show you some real numbers right now. This is a sample of a campaign that's running. I believe they're in the Connecticut market, and they also service New York City. These are real numbers. And so the number I want you to look at is on the very bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You see where it says 45.21%? Okay, so what that means is pretty much out of every 2 visitors that's going to this company's landing page, 1 out of every 2 visitors is turning into a lead. Okay, so this company, this is a pay-per-click, a Google AdWords campaign. This company is paying over $3 a click, which isn't cheap. Now, a click is a visitor. So when someone clicks on your ad and go to your site, you're just paying for visitors to your site. And so this person, this company has had 376 visitors to their site at a cost of $3.24 per visitor. You see that down here. And then the total they've spent is about $1,200. Okay, and for that $1,200, they got 170 leads. Okay, so, and they're converting at 45%. That's a very, very high conversion rate. And so let's just pretend they were converting at a 10% conversion rate, which is pretty standard for websites that have not had conversion rate optimization done to them. If they were converting at 10%, they would be spending $32 per lead. Whereas in this, converting at 45%, they're only paying a little over $7 per lead. Okay, so that's a massive, massive difference. $32 per lead, because we have to remember, not every one of those leads is going to convert into a customer. Let's say that 1 in 5 of those leads converts into a customer, okay? And that would be a pretty good lead to sale conversion rate. Then at $32 times 5, that would be $160 for a new client acquisition cost, right? Because if we're paying $32 per lead and 1 in 5 of those leads converts into a new client, that's $160, which if you're doing airport runs, you might only be charging $150 for the total run. And so that's why it's so important that we get our cost per lead as low as possible. So this business is spending $7 a lead. So if they're getting 1 in 5 of those leads to convert into a customer, they just went from spending $160 to acquire a new customer to spending, what is that, about $35. So a massive difference, especially when we're talking, hundreds and hundreds of leads. That can really add up pretty quickly. So here's another scenario of an example of a business. I believe they're in the Washington, D.C., Maryland market. And I want to just point out some numbers here. You see that column that says cost right here, and it says about 2,900. I believe that was about what they spent in a month, just under $3,000, with a cost per click. So CPC just means cost per visitor. Okay, so they're paying at about $2.25 for every visitor they get to their website. Okay, and this company is converting at just under 30%. That's still very good. Okay, and their cost per conversion, or cost per lead, remember, a conversion is a lead. So when we say conversion rate optimization, again, we're trying to optimize for the number of visitors that turn into leads. If that's the only thing you get from this whole webinar, it would be worth it to understand that piece. And so this company is only spending just under $8 a lead. And so imagine if they had a 10% conversion rate, okay? So if this 28.92% was 10% instead, they would be spending $23 per lead, right? Because again, they're spending $2.25 per visitor to their site. If only 1 in 10 visitors converted into a lead, then they'd be spending $23 per lead. Now again, if they close 1 in 5 of those leads, they're spending over $100 to acquire a new client. And again, that's why this is so important, because if we can get down our cost for what we pay to acquire a new client, that's going to make us a whole lot more profitable, because your client acquisition costs can be one of the greatest expenses in your business. So getting that cost down by some really simple manipulations to your website is very, very worth it. Okay, so now that I've shown you guys why it's so important, what are the elements that I mentioned earlier that we need to have in place, either on our website or our landing pages? By the way, I'm going to say website and landing page a lot throughout this. Really, you want both your website and your landing pages to both have the same elements. So your website, that's the hub of everything. Landing pages are often used when you're running like a Google Ads campaign or a Bing Ads campaign. And a landing page is just a one-page website. But you want the same elements on your website as you do on your landing pages. I see this all the time, even with companies I've worked with before, where we'll have really good landing pages that convert really well, but then I'll look at their website and their website is not built to convert. Now, if your website ranks really well organically, if you're on the first page of Google and your website is not built to convert, then you are just throwing away money. And so let's find out what sort of elements you need on your website. So here's 2 examples right here of some landing pages that convert, that I know convert really well, over 30% each. And if you look at them, you'll notice they're very simple. The one on the left doesn't even have a logo, okay? We're not even using a logo. All it is actual text. And the page on the left here, that's actually, out of any campaign I've ever built, that is the highest converting landing page I have ever seen. And it doesn't have many of the elements that are common for internet marketers to talk about. It doesn't even have many of those elements. Like, it doesn't have what's called a hero shot. A hero shot is a picture of someone's face. And typically we like that picture of their face. Like the one on the right, that's a hero shot. You'll see this lady here she's kind of looking at the form, right? And so strangely enough, we don't even have, we don't have the hero shot, and we don't have, certain elements that you would think would lead to a really good converting page, but we do have two of the most important elements. And those are having a form above the fold. So you'll notice both of these here have a form as soon as you land on the page that says instant online quote. Okay, so that's number one. So they've got a form above the fold, and above the fold just means before they start scrolling. Before they start scrolling, you want them to land on a page that has a form and that has a phone number. It looks like it got cut off on the left image, but in the left image, on the left landing page, there's actually a phone number that's, I believe it's right above the contact. Somehow it got cut off on the slide, but those are the two most crucial elements. And so, but what's even more important is your mobile site, because we always look at desktop, but desktop isn't actually what you should be focusing on. Really, the most important format is mobile. 65% of visitors go on mobile. Okay, so just think about that number. 2 times the number of people that use desktop use mobile. So while a lot of times you'll see people showing you images of desktops, really what we should be looking at is what do the mobile sites look like? And you'll notice these two mobile sites, which both convert very well, they're almost the same, right? They've got a logo, or the one on the left doesn't even have a logo, just a company name. It's got the phone number that's right under the logo, and then it has the quote request form right under that. And that's it. And when you go to their landing pages, that is literally all you see when you're on your mobile phone. What you're seeing right now is the only thing you actually see when you land on their mobile site. And so I can't overstate this enough. You want to have your mobile pages just like this. Have a phone number above the fold, have a form above the fold, and you'll be amazed at how well they perform. And so why do they perform so well? Again, I've tested probably over 100 landing pages at this point, because I've ran so many different tests with so many different Google Ads campaigns. And again, there's really 2 main components that I've noticed. When I remove those components, the pages always performed worse. And again, the phone number above the fold on your website. So what I want you guys to do right now, if you could, is go to your mobile site on your main website. Go on your website right now on your cell phone, and I want you to see, do you have the phone number above the fold that you can click on? Because I see this all the time too, where I go to a website's mobile page and the phone number's there, but you can't actually click on it. So you literally have to memorize the number and then close the browser and dial the number. And there's nothing more frustrating than that. There's nothing that will kill your conversion rate more than that. So you want to make sure that you either have a click to call button, or you have just the phone number that when you click on it, it automatically fills in those digits on your phone. So that's number one. And then number 2, again, the quick quote form, or I actually prefer the verbiage instant online quote. I've tested both. I've tested quick quote form and instant online quote, and instant online quote always converts better, which I guess it kind of makes sense. People are looking for an instant quote. So those are the 2 most crucial elements. If you don't have anything else on your website, have those 2 elements, and I guarantee you it'll double to triple the number of leads you're getting from your website. Here are some other elements that can help, but they're not going to help as much as the last 2 I went over. These are very commonly, all internet marketers talk about all of these things. And while I no, they do help a little bit. It might improve, your conversion rate from, let's say, 20% to 23, 24%. Having the phone number and form above the fold can take someone that is converting at 10% and have them convert at 30% or 40%. That's how much those two things matter. So you do want to speak to your ideal customer avatar. And I'm going to go into this a little bit later in the webinar. And we're going to go over how you kind of figure out, okay, who is my ideal customer avatar? What are their pains? What are their frustrations? And that's going to help us write the actual copy that we put on our pages, because I always get the question, well, what actually should I write on my website to get people to call, to take action? And it's kind of different depending on what you do. So someone who offers wine tours is going to have different copy than someone who focuses on like a corporate car service. So this number 2 is really big, and I rarely see this, but it's be real. I think I've only seen a handful of Limo websites. I know one of the businesses I work with, American Transportation. Some of you might know him. His name's Lennon. He's got this down. He's actually created some videos of himself talking about his business, talking about his service, and we put those videos on his landing pages and on his website because it gives it more of an authentic feel. Just so many Limo websites I see, typically all they use are stock photos, and they don't have real images of their vehicles. They don't have any images of their staff. If you can include this stuff, I guarantee you most Limo companies are not doing this. When you go to their website, you have no idea who owns it. You have no idea who the chauffeurs are. You have no idea if the vehicles they have on their website are actually theirs or they're just stock photos. So the more authentic you can be, it really will give your website more personality, your landing pages more personality, and that can help with conversion rate. Using video is definitely a plus. Like I said, the company I work with, when we went from no video to putting a video on one of his landing pages, his conversion rates jumped from about 23, 24% up to about 29%. So that doesn't seem like a big difference, but what that's going to do is that lowers his cost per lead. So if he was paying $10 per lead, just from adding that video, that can reduce his cost per lead by maybe $2, and which isn't a very big deal when we're talking about one lead. But what if we're talking about 1,000 leads? Okay, because over the course of several months, he will have 1,000 leads, and that $2 could be $2,000. So typically for videos, what I recommend is having a website welcome video. So a video that I recommend spending the money, get a professionally done video. You can probably get it done for $300 to $500 of a video of you talking about your business and why they should work with you instead of your competition. And then for some extra credit, if you've got videos of each of your vehicles, that's a huge bonus because people like to know what exactly they're renting, right? So if you can say, hey, you know what? We're going to send you a link. We'll send you a quote. And in the quote, we're going to have a link to a video that shows the exact what your vehicle looks like from the outside, from the inside, maybe even what it looks like lit up if you're doing like party buses and that sort of thing, to really give them a feel of what it is they're renting. And then social proof. So I've seen a lot of my clients have success with Bird Eye. I know a few companies that use Podium. Now, what these companies do is they're just helping you build your social proof, the number of reviews you have, because I liken reviews to SEO. It's an appreciating asset. So if you're a business that has 100, 4 to 5 star reviews, your business is going to be much more valuable than your competition who might have, less than 20 reviews and they're all 2 to 3 stars. So it's really an investment you want to make, and you really want to systematize it. The reason most businesses don't have a lot of reviews is they don't ask for them every single time. It just needs to be a part of your process. Okay, so you do a job and they automatically get an email that says, hey, did you enjoy your experience with us? We would love it if you would leave us a review. And so if you don't have very many reviews, it's probably either because you're a new business, or more likely you just don't have an automatic system in place to ask for them. Because if you have to remember to ask everyone for a review, you're not going to have very many reviews with how many other things you guys have going on. And then authority symbols, things like, are you working with a Better Business Bureau? Are you on Yelp? Are you on TripAdvisor? Any sort of symbols you can add to the page that kind of show who you're affiliated with. Because people like to see that you're working with companies they're familiar with. It kind of gives you that social proof by association. And then ensuring that you have clear calls to action on each page. And a call to action is just like, get your quote now, call now. You want to have these throughout the page. And so you might have one on the very top when they get to your, when they first land on the page or on your mobile site, like get a quote now. But as they scroll down the page, you want to have them, typically I like to see a call to action, get your quote now, on the very top, one in the middle, and then one at the very bottom. And when they hit that button, it just takes them back up to the form where they can fill out that form. And then some other things you can try is like some special limited time offers. Like for instance, it's prom season right now. So why not have some sort of special offer that you're doing for prom? I'm sure you probably don't need something like that for prom just because you get so much business from prom anyways, but maybe there's an event that's going on in your area. Maybe there's a big conference, maybe there's a big concert coming up, and you could add something to the top of your page that says, hey, we've got something special just for you guys that are attending this concert or this conference. Whether that might be a small discount or an extra hour free, having something like that can really help help your page convert better. And again, making sure your website's mobile optimized and it's got a really easy click to call button. So either with the phone number that's clickable or a button that just says click to call now. And then lastly, try live chat. So I've seen this work well for some businesses and not so well with others. So I don't say use live chat, I say try live chat, because I've put it on some pages and it made them not convert as well. Here's really what I think it comes down to with live chat. If you're not manning the live chat, if you're not present, if they click on the live chat button and it says you are away, then don't even bother using live chat. So if you're a small owner operator that's doing your own rides, then I probably wouldn't recommend using live chat. If you're like a larger business and you've got sales reps and you've always got someone that's proactively handling sales, then give it a shot, because people like to be able to immediately start talking to someone, and they don't always want to have to pick up the phone, especially with these days more and more younger kids renting limos and using your services. You really do want to give them the option if they just want to text. That's why I think live chat can work for some businesses, but not others. But I would always recommend just trying it out. As with anything in online marketing, you want to try it, right? You should always be testing. Okay, so who's your ideal customer avatar? So I did this the other day for one of one of the businesses I work with, they just want wine tours. And so I looked at the landing pages I had and the ads I had, and I realized I'm like, this really doesn't speak um, to the type of person that's going to be using their services. And so after doing a little research, I kind of found these were the demographics. Um, you know, typically a homeowner over 35 years old. Typically, I notice it's more females inquiring about them than males. Maybe the female is just put in charge of doing that. But what I want you guys to focus on is the right side, okay? Because this is really how we're going to come up with the copy. Look at number 2 there, doesn't enjoy planning. Okay. So in doing my research, and by the way, how I do all this research is I like to go on Yelp and I like to just start reading reviews, and I like to see what are the people that are happy saying and what are the people that aren't happy saying. And generally what I found with wine tours is the people that were happy were all saying the same thing. One, they really liked it that the person they were working with was more like a concierge, okay? They were very knowledgeable. They knew the area. They knew the different wineries. They knew the good restaurants. So what I found was typically these people, they're not looking to rent a vehicle, right? And that's the great thing about wine tours and why it's going to be a lot harder for all these autonomous vehicles and all, everything that's coming to disrupt something that's more of an experience. I know John Taffer talked about this at the LCT show. So really what you're providing is an experience. You're not providing transportation. Well, you are, but that's just a small piece of it. Really what they're looking for is they're looking to be taken care of. I know myself, I've never, I've been on wine tours. I've never booked one myself, but if I was to actually book a wine tour myself, I don't know where to go. I don't know where to have lunch, where to have dinner. And so really the person who's going to really be the most powerful person on your team is that front line of sales. And you want to make sure whoever that person is very knowledgeable. But right now we're talking about landing pages and websites. So what do we want to say on our website to show them that, okay, we know the area, we know the best restaurants, we know the best wineries, we're going to take care of you. You don't have to worry about anything, right? That's kind of what I want you guys to get from this is you need to understand, okay, what are they worried about? What are some things that they might be potentially frustrated with? What are the pain points? And the truth is, you guys probably know this far better than I do because you work with these people. And so you know what pains them, what worries them. And here's a little more of an example of, their fears and the implications of those fears. So being ripped off or overcharged, working with a company that doesn't make customer satisfaction number one, looking bad in front of their friends. Okay, so now we're getting a little deeper, right? Because you have to think when someone's signing up for a wine or when someone's, doing a wine tour, many times it's a party of people, right? And usually one person gets the responsibility to set up this wine tour, right? And so it's kind of on them. Everyone's relying on them. And so they don't want to screw this up, right? Because their reputation's on the line. And this is all very important to understand when we're crafting our copy, because what we really want to be doing is assuring them that we're the experts, they're going to be taken care of. If something goes wrong, customer satisfaction is number one. We will make it right. So some other, things, having a disappointing lunch or dinner, an unprofessional chauffeur, spending too much time coordinating the plans and making sure everything is right. So, and then what are they really looking for? To look good in front of their friends, right? Because really what they're envisioning is when the wine tour is all over, their friends are going to be like, oh my God, this was the greatest time I ever had. You did such a good job. So they're kind of taking the credit for the job you guys are doing, right? So your job essentially is to make them look good in front of their friends, because these are all the things that they're not saying, but that are going on in their mind. And so you'll see some other things, you know, having fun, memorable time with family and friends, a good lunch and dinner, and so forth. So now that we know what their fears are, what their wants and desires are, what their demographics are, let's start crafting some messaging that really speaks to what they're looking for. And this is actually real messaging I've used in my campaigns that works really well. So what do we see here? Let us plan your day in Napa, right? Leave the planning to us, your wine tour concierge. Our wine tour concierge will help you plan your perfect getaway. Get your itinerary now. So letting them know, I see wine tour ads all the time that talk about, oh, we have a great fleet. Oh, you know, rent our vehicles. They're brand new, and you know. But if you're doing wine tours, that can work for certain customer avatars. But when we're doing wine tours, we really want to understand what is it that they're looking for. And with wine tours, after doing extensive research, I've found that it isn't so much that they care that, you know, it's a brand new vehicle. Don't get me wrong, they want a nice vehicle, but that's not their number one concern. Their number one concern is they don't want to have to worry about the planning. They want to make sure everything's taken care of. They want to know that they're working with an expert and that they're going to have fun and that they're going to look good in front of their friends. And so here are some other ideas for copy. You know, knowledgeable chauffeurs, professional chauffeurs, all-inclusive or upfront pricing. This is big, no matter if you do wine tours, if you rent, you know, large vehicles like charter buses, motor coaches, or whether you do party bus rentals or corporate limo service. The all-inclusive pricing or upfront pricing, all of you guys should be using that on your pages, because there's one thing I see over and over when I'm on Yelp and looking at bad reviews. It's, oh, they weren't upfront about their pricing. They added on all these other taxes and fees and surcharges. So even if you have to charge more, make sure that rate you give them is all inclusive. And if it can't be, that's fine. You just have to really hammer it home that, hey, there's going to be other fees, but this should be as much as it is. So that's a big one. And then, of course, satisfaction guaranteed. And this goes without saying, guys, you should all be wanting to make sure all of your clients are satisfied. There's nothing that's going to grow your business more than getting lots of happy customers. And so here's some actual examples of some ads, just to give you, again, an idea for copy. Now, I'm showing you ads on Google that have been created, but this same copy can be used on your landing pages, on your website. You want to use the same copy, because whether they're clicking on your ad or going to your page, these are the things, for wine tours anyways, they care about. And so, again, you really want to develop a different avatar for depending on the type of service you offer, and really start getting in your clients' heads and figuring out, okay, what is their number one, you know, pain point? What are they worried about? What do they want? What are they looking to achieve from this? And so it's different for everyone, but not much. And so these are some examples of some very, very successful wine tour ads that have done really well. And so, you know, feel free to screenshot this, because this copy has really been working out. But really, it's not so much the copy I want you guys to take from this. It's how I develop the copy. And again, all you have to do is go to Yelp and start looking at good and bad reviews, because that's going to tell you everything you need to know, because people will tell you exactly what they liked and what they didn't like and what could be improved. And so Yelp is a great resource, the reviews on Yelp. Oops. Okay, so here's another Here's a sample of a landing page that I did for a customer that was focused on party buses, on more of the night out crowd. So if your customers are more of the night out crowd, this is the type of landing page you want to use. And you'll see here, pretty simple. The image says it all, right? So it looks like possibly a bachelorette party, okay? And so, but again, notice the elements on the page that haven't changed. That's really, again, if you guys remember anything from this webinar, I want you to remember the two most important elements. And hopefully you've remembered them by now because I've said them like 5 or 6 times. But having that phone number in the upper right-hand corner, don't get fancy and put it in the upper left-hand corner or in the bottom left-hand corner or on the middle of the page. Put it in the upper right-hand corner. That's where everyone looks for the phone number. So don't try to be unique. Don't try to change up a formula that works. Put the form. I like putting the form on the right-hand side. I've tried it on the left-hand side with mixed results. So usually I always like to put it on the right-hand side. But again, it's something you need to test because I've seen it work on the left-hand side before. But really, it's something you want to be testing every time. But if you want to go for something that I know works every time, put it on the right-hand side. And you'll see that blue button there that says get your quote. You'll notice that doesn't say submit, okay? So on your quote submission button, don't have it say submit. You want it to have a call to action. Get your quote. That's a call to action. So do not use submit or enter or any of those other things, right? You want to really be speaking to them. A few other things on this page I'd like to point out. I list some benefits, and then I list the service they offer and where they offer it. So I've found this helps out quite a bit because many times people will go to a page and be like, where is this company even out of? So that's, especially if you're doing Google Ads, that's an important piece. I really like to include the service type and where you're servicing out of. And then usually always put the logo in the upper left-hand corner. So here's a sample for a client that does more of corporate car service. So just look at the image, okay? So this is, again, what we call a hero shot. So a hero shot, just to remind you guys, it's a shot of an actual person because typically shots with people in them are going to have pages that convert better than pages without people. Now, again, I don't like to say every time because I have seen pages that converted well without having a hero shot. But I know this page converts probably one of the highest, having this image on the page. And here's why I think it is. Where is he looking? He's looking at the get your quote button, right? And so what they found from doing studies of this and eye tracking software, it's actually pretty interesting. They found when we look at the image of a person, what we look at is we look at their eyes, and then we look at where their eyes are looking. So look at where his eyes are looking. They're looking at the call to action, right? And so that's why I love this landing page, and that's why it does so well, I think, is because we have the hero shot with the man looking at the get your quote button. And again, have the logo on the upper left-hand side, phone number in the upper right-hand side that's clickable on mobile. And then what you'll see here is any of you using Limo Anywhere, I want to bring this up right now because I've mentioned this before, but I don't know if all of you have seen my older videos. And so if you're using Limo Anywhere or Book.Limo or any sort of online booking tool, you might want to try a month without using it because after tracking probably close to a dozen of those forms through Google Analytics. Those forms convert really poorly. The reason I think they convert so poorly is because they do two things. One, they give the potential client the price before they ask for their contact information, right? So if you're using Limo Anywhere, Book.limo, or any of these booking forms online, you'll notice they don't ask for their name, email, phone number first, right? They say, okay, where are we going from? Where are we going to? And then the next page is select your vehicle. But on that page, they get a price. So what happens is people fill out their information on the first page. They hit submit. They go to the second page and they see the price. And then what do? What do most people do? Well, now that they know how much you're going to charge, they're going to go find out what other companies are going to charge. So they leave the page. And generally speaking, they don't come back. Okay? And what's the problem with that? Well, you gave them the price, but you didn't get anything in return. There's no way for you to follow up and send them a quote. There's no way for you to call them. So you really got nothing out of the deal. And so what I've done is with lots of my customers that used to use those forms, what I've done is I've switched them to a form like this. So look at this. So it looks like there's two tabs there, right? So if they click book online now, that's going to redirect them to the Limo Anywhere page, right? For someone who's looking to book right now, we still want to give them that option. But what most people want is a quick quote, okay? And so if they fill out this form and hit, get my quote, we have it set up so it sends that information via Zapier into Limo Anywhere. So it creates a new quote request inside Limo Anywhere. And I think that's really been the best of both worlds, because now I've seen my clients, my customers are getting a much higher conversion rate, because with the Limo Anywhere form, with the Book.limo form, conversion rates are typically, I've seen between 0.8 to 1.5%. So just think about that again. You heard me earlier talking about good conversion rates. So good conversion rates are typically going to be anywhere from 20 to 40%. This is 0.8 to 1.5%. Think about the difference of that. So almost 20 times or more, 25 times less conversion rate. That is absolutely massive. And without exception, everyone I have spoke with that has gotten that form removed from their website, from their landing pages, they said, oh my God, I get so many quote requests now. Now, again, these are quote requests, all right? So it's not like someone's booking online. However, at least you're getting the opportunity to follow up with them, to send them a quote, because if they go through to that second step, see the price and leave, you get nothing. Okay, so for those of you using those online booking forms, I would implore you to just try removing them for a month and trying a regular form. You can always go back and just see how many more quote requests you get, because I think you're going to be really surprised at how many of those you can get a day, especially if you're getting a good amount of traffic. Okay, so social proof, have some reviews on all of your on your homepage of your site and all of your other pages. There's some things like Bird Eye that actually have a widget that will actually scroll through all of your online reviews. So that's really cool. If you don't have something like that, just grab a few of your best reviews and showcase them. I've listened to phone calls because I track all phone calls for all the companies we do business with. And I've actually listened to some of these calls where they say, hey, I read the review on your page. It sounds like you guys are, really do a great job. So people do read these things. And so you really always want to have reviews on on any page that's got a phone number and a form. Throw some reviews on that page, because people do read them and they help quite a bit. Okay, and So just some stats for you guys. 4.8 billion people have mobile phones. I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this. It's probably even more by now. I think that stat's a few years old. 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their smartphone. And this is a scary stat right here. Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turn to a competitor's site after a bad mobile web experience. Okay, so if nothing else scares you, that really should, right? So we need to make sure our websites are mobile friendly and that we make it very, very simple to get a quote, to call. And so again, guys, if there's anything you do after watching this, go on your mobile site, just see how easy it is to get a quote. Because I've been to so many limo websites where I'm like, okay, how do I get a quote? Where do I go? Where's the phone number? Oh, the phone number's in an image. I need to memorize it, click off, and then try to remember the number. So if that's you, fix that, because that could literally triple the number of leads you're getting overnight. And then here's what live chat actually looks like. I believe this is a free live chat that one of my clients is using, talk.to. And you'll notice something though. What does it say? Offline, right? So the reason I wanted to show you guys this slide, I know I said earlier that give live chat a try, but look, if you guys don't have someone that can man the live chat during normal business hours, people understand if it's 11 o'clock at night and you're offline, they're going to forgive you. But if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it says offline, that looks a little sketchy, right? They're like, okay, who is this company? Like, is there even someone actually there? So again, if you're a good sized limo company where you've got sales reps, then definitely give it a shot. But if you're an owner operator and you can't man that thing all the time, then you probably want to shy away from it, because I think it will actually work against you if someone sees that you're offline. So end of story, give it a shot, but if you can't be on it during normal business hours, just skip it. And here's what it actually looks like. This is a bird eye actual form, and they have something cool where it'll actually text you, and you can have a text conversation as opposed to having an app on your phone for live chat. But Apex Chat said that having live chat can increase your online leads by 40%. So this is a stat when I was doing research for this webinar that I saw, and that's a pretty big number. But I'll tell you what, if it did increase someone's conversions by 40%, and by 40%, that means going from like a 10% conversion rate to a 14% conversion rate. That doesn't mean going from a 10% to a 50%. So that's one thing to remember when you're getting these numbers. But still, going from 10% to 14% would be pretty good. But I guarantee you, whoever got those results, they were constantly manning their live chat and always had someone available. So again, give it a shot. So I want to just do a quick review here of the key ideas I went over. Get the basics right. Number 1 and 2 are, I would say, 2 to 3 times more important, than everything else combined. So number 1 and 2 are probably, if you only remember those 2 things, you'll have gotten a lot out of this. And always make sure that on your mobile site, you have those 2 things above the fold. I've seen sites that have the phone number above the fold on their mobile, but you have to scroll to see the form. That is nowhere near as good as you want both above the fold on the mobile site. So if you just have the phone number above the fold, you want to add the quote request form above the fold too. And then adding credibility with those symbols, that's really easy to do if you're a member of the Better Business Bureau, or even if you have a Yelp account or TripAdvisor, any of those symbols, companies, businesses that people would be familiar with, you want to make sure those are added to your page. And then again, these other things I'm going to go through, they can help, but not near as much as that first thing. So having real authentic images of your chauffeurs and your team, like I said earlier, my client Lennon from American Transportation increased his conversion rate probably about 20 or 30% from what he did have, just by adding the video of him talking about his business. And I don't think I've seen a Limo website yet that actually has images of your chauffeurs. But think of it this way. Who are they actually going to meet? Who is the client going to meet? Typically, they're not going to meet the business owner unless you're an owner-operator. So really, having images of your chauffeurs on your website, that's going to help a ton, because people want to know, okay, who am I going to be working with? Who am I going to actually be interacting with? And so that can help a ton. Plus, it gives personality to your website. Adding video, like I mentioned, can improve things a lot. Having a website welcome video, and then also a video, if you want some extra credit, like I was saying, have your vehicles, or at least your most popular vehicles, get them, do a pan from the outside, show what they look like on the inside. If it's a party bus, show what it looks like all lit up. And that can really help a ton as well. Showcasing your online reviews. So any page that you're sending traffic to, so whether that be your home page or your landing pages, or even on your service pages or your fleet page, you want to have forms and a phone number on all of those pages, okay? Because many times people will go from your home page to your fleet page, and you want to make sure that no matter where they go, there's always a phone number and a form that they can fill out. But also having reviews on those pages as well. So these things should be on every page you have, because people are going to frequent lots of other pages on your site, not just your home page. And you want to make sure that they can convert on those pages without having to take an extra step and finding, oh shoot, where was that quote format? You know, and then having to hunt around your site. People are very impatient when they're online browsing, so you want to make it easy on them. And then calls to action throughout each page. Typically, again, I like to see a button on top, on the middle of the page, and on the bottom. If you have short pages, maybe you only need 2, but especially if you have long pages where you can scroll and scroll and scroll, you want to have several buttons. So the button can just say, get my quote, and the button will redirect them to the form. That's all that is. That's all I mean by a call to action. And then special and one-time offers. Again, like I was saying, if you have an event in your area, a large convention, a concert, you know, add something like, you know, hey, 10% off, or hey, we'll give you a 5th hour for free if you book 4. And then again, live chat, try it out. For smaller businesses, it probably won't work as well as it does for large businesses. And so if you guys want, I know I went over a lot today. Really, there are a few key points that hopefully you've remembered. But if you want to get a quick little guide I created that just goes over everything I went over all in one neat little PDF, go ahead, just leave your email in the chat and I'll send that to you. Again, it's just a quick PDF, and it just shows you, you know, the things I went over, and it shows you kind of the ideal layout you want to have on your website or landing pages. And so, yeah, just leave your email in the chat, and I can send that to you. And if you guys want me to check out your website, your PPC campaigns, create an actual custom keyword list. This is what many times most people are interested in. For your particular location, there are things that people are searching for right now. And really, to create a good online marketing campaign, you want to know, what are people searching for in my area, because you can use that to optimize your website, do the proper on-page optimization, and then also for your pay-per-click campaigns, what keywords should you be using to drive traffic to your landing pages. We can do a ranking report to see where your website currently ranks organically. We can do an analysis of online directory listings and consistency. So for local SEO, there's 3 things that matter, right? You have to have your Google My Business set up and optimized, right? You have to have enough images and all of that. You have to have citation consistency. So that's your name, address, and phone number. There's hundreds of directories online. That needs to be consistent all throughout the internet. And then finally, you need to have lots of good reviews. And if you have those 3 things, you'll start showing up in that local map area. So if you kind of want to see where you're at, as far as, you know, your directory listings and the consistency of them, we can do a report of that. You know, also we'll include a report of your online reviews, what your reputation is like, an analysis of your social presence. Do you have all your profiles built out? You know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all of those things. And then finally, and probably the most important thing that you could change today that could immediately double to triple the number of leads you're getting is how well your website is set up for conversion. So if nothing else, I would want that checked out, because if your website isn't set up for conversion, again, you could be throwing a lot of money down the drain. So that's the number, 855-255-LIMO. You can give us a call and we'll check all of those things out and give you those reports. And so that's pretty much everything. So anyone who's stuck around, I see we got Paul Covey here. How's it going, Paul? Thanks for sticking around. I'm not sure if you're actually at your screen right now, but I really appreciate you joining and kind of supporting. I think we have Mike from North Carolina, I believe. Did you guys have any questions about anything I went over? You can just leave them in the group chat if you do. Going once. Yeah, no problem, Paul. Really appreciate you hopping on here and supporting. And so let's talk soon, by the way. It's been a little while since we spoke. And I hope you're doing well, Mike. Been a while since we spoke. So, well, cool, guys. Yeah, again, if you want me to check out your websites and give you some some kind of tailored tips on a few things you guys could tweak to improve your results, I really appreciate you guys all sitting through this. And I hope you got some value from it. Act 1 Limo, I will send you that website conversion guide, that PDF. Yeah, you're totally welcome. No, I'll do it for free, Mike. Yeah, I'll check it out for free. Like, that's not something I'm charging for. So go ahead. If you guys want me to check out your website and give you some tips, I really appreciate you guys sitting through this webinar. I'd be more than happy to do so. Just drop your email in here. Well, I guess you already did that. Well, yeah, drop your email in here one more time if you'd like me to do a website review. And Mike, I'm not sure if I still have your email. I believe it's actually the UMB 5530, but if you could just drop your email in the comments, Mike, and I'll check out your website and give you some tips on what you could do to kind of improve your conversion rate. And so anyways, guys, that's about it. Again, thank you so much for attending and listening. And I'll be doing another webinar in a month on a different topic, and I hope you guys can make it. So I'll see y'all later.